Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarita. I have a Christmas miracle for you today. I have two Christmas miracles from the baby Jesus that defy logic, rationality, science, etc. And they are very, like, 12 days of Christmas magical. So the first candle that we're going to talk, and I usually don't drop two candle reviews in one day, but I think I'm going to do that because these are both miracles and they both deserve to be talked about in the same breath. Breathlessly. So the first candle that we're going to talk about is this one from Homeworx, Partridge in a Pear Tree. You see how that's like very 12 Days of Christmas, right? Like we can still talk about Christmas right now because of that song, because of that culture, because of that tradition. All right, so Partridge in a Pear Tree. And I got this from Marshall's fairly recently, like maybe a month ago, $16.99. This is like a really old favorite and a long-standing one from Harry Slatkin. And I actually had it on a list of like Homeworx candles that I want to buy at some point on the off market, or if they should come back in some format. Partridge in a Pear Tree was one of them that is very well liked and I thought was kind of up my alley. So the notes on this one are poached pears, as would be expected, tonka bean, I love a good tonka bean, red berries, and vanilla bean. And this bears all the marks of like Harry Slatkin and his like Bath and Body Works vibe. To me, this is one of the it's one of the few Homeworx candles that really has a strongly Bath and Body Works vibe to me, in that it's a little on the fruity side, a little bit too like pop fruity, and a little bit, synthetic isn't the right word, but it does kind of feel like it could easily be like a shower gel. All of those being hallmarks of Bath and Body Works. And perhaps part of it too is that it is very reminiscent of a couple like pear Bath and Body Works candles that I've seen out recently, or that they do, like the sparkling pear Riesling, or there was like a, I don't know, there was a new one this year that was like a pear in the forest, some, I don't know what, you know? And then there was the prickly pear sangria, etc. These candles are all very similar from Bath & Body Works, and now I see that they're all kind of chasing this Partridge in a Pear Tree as kind of the industry leader in this particular category. It's just a very bright, fruity pear, and it has a little bit of like a body care overtone. And the entire fragrance and all the fragrances in this category don't lean like authentically pear, like in a botanical fashion. They lean just a little bit more into that like isolated pear fragrance and taste, like bumped up like in like a very like amplified to the point that it's just not quite as authentic, but it also is like maximum juice, maximum pop, and then combined with a lot of other things, which may or may not be effervescent and or body care-ish. This one doesn't have so much effervescence, which I appreciate. There's more of a creamy component to it, and that makes sense with the tonka bean. There's a creamy component to it, there's a soft component to it. And while Bath & Body Works' pear fragrances are very similar, this one really does have a very refined air to it. When my friends, who are not exactly candle connoisseurs, were smelling this cold, they swore up and down that this not only smelled like a very rich, like boutique hotel lobby, but that they had actually been in hotel lobbies that smelled like this. For me, I've been in like some hotel boutiques. I think they tend to go a little bit more perfumey, like, and I questioned it. I was like, does this seem a little bit fruity for a holiday? And they're like, no, this is what really really fancy hotels, they smell like this. I was like, okay. But I do think there is a more of a premium or refined quality to this fragrance, even though all things considered, it's a little bit too pop fruity for me. Pear is definitely like the dominant note, no question. And there are like red berries, I think, underneath, although it's very helpful that they have them listed because I don't know if my mind would immediately go there. But I think that it's a very nice and appropriate, seasonally appropriate kind of a currant underneath, which is even providing a little bit of tartness, I think, underneath the pears. And that's very welcome given that the pears are very high, very bright, very sweet, very fruity. Those like more austere currant-like berries are providing a little bit of welcome tartness to kind of slice through it a bit. Otherwise, it's super creamy, and it's both vanilla and tonka bean. For me personally, really the only seasonal aspect of this fragrance is like that red currant. And I don't know that it's obvious enough or impressive enough to make it a truly seasonal fragrance for me. I would have liked to have seen in this a pear and spice. So I think that like an allspice or a nutmeg would be very nice. Even maybe a touch of cinnamon. Or clove, but I really would prefer it to lean a little bit more warmer in the like nutmeg range than like bitey like cinnamon and clove, especially if you get a very authentic pear kind of note. It can very easily be overwhelmed by aggressive spices. So that's why I think nutmeg might actually be the right one to go with here. But I think that it would just feel a little bit more Partridge and a Pear Tree for me personally if there was a spicier dimension to it. And I think it's a very sweet candle. So you really do need something to cut it. And I don't know that the currants are cutting it enough because you've got all that tonka bean vanilla too that's just real sweet. It's very sweet. And the tonka bean is not austere enough to, again, really contrast very well. So I think a spice would not only make it more seasonal, but would also balance the candle a little bit more. And because it's a partridge in a pear tree, I don't think it would be remiss to have a little grounding with some white birch or something like that. I think that might be nice also. Again, it would make it more seasonally appropriate and give it a little bit more gravitas and complexity. And for me personally, this is way too many sweet elements with a body care, which is making it go Bath & Body Works. And I'm a little disappointed with it, although it did make me smile, there's no question. For me, it's probably a one and done, partly because these aren't my kinds of fragrances. Yeah? So, Partridge in a Pear Tree, but I believe there are probably so many people out there who would love this. And if you like those Bath & Body Works pear fragrances, you're gonna love this one because it is all of those except something more expensive, more premium, more special. So I really think you would love this candle. Please pick it up wherever you can find it, although I don't think it's being offered on the website right now. Since it's an OG though from Harry Slatkin, I think you'll probably see it again in years to come. It is a Christmas miracle because this candle had strength and throw. And it's a Christmas miracle because, frankly, the Homeworx candles have not had strength and throw for a hot minute. Yeah? This one, honestly, was consistently 7.5 to 8.5. I mean, like, straight up there. And I would say that was the case for at least the first half of the candle. Now, I am down here kind of in the lower half of the candle, and I think that the candle has kind of settled down at this point. I'm really getting more of like a 6 at this point, maybe a 5 to a 6, and I'm keeping it in the hurricane. So I don't really know what happened, but like the second half here, I'm not getting the same kind of strength of performance, but it's burning fine, you know? But that first half, 7.5 to 8.5 without a hurricane. I mean, it was up there. which is kind of to be expected, I guess, in a kind of a Bath and Body Works-esque kind of fragrance profile, but I still think it's a Christmas miracle because, I mean, this candle was poured in July of this year, 2023. So it goes to show you that even these Vietnam candles, it is possible for Harry Slatkin to get these candles up higher, and he needs to do that more often. These Homeworx candles with 4 wicks need to be at least in the 7 realm. And with 4 wicks and a premium price point, I think they need to be consistently 7.5. 8 or 8.5 is like brilliant. I mean, everybody would be happy if it was up in that realm. But this one definitely was in the 7.5 to 8.5. It was right there where it needed to be, at least for the first half of this candle. So I find that very, very encouraging. Because of the scent profile, that might have helped it a great deal. To get one of his more subdued or subtle scents, more complex scents, to throw that kind of way, it would probably take a little bit more. But it's within the realm of possibility. And I'm celebrating it as a gift from the baby Jesus this year. So, Partridge in a Pear Tree, 2 thumbs up, with the caveat being that it's not my fragrance. So I probably wouldn't buy it again. But I think it's going to be a lot of people's fragrance if you've never experienced it. And I know a lot of you already have. You're big Homeworx buyers, and this is a really special favorite, and I can completely understand why. That's what I've got. Check out the next one for another Christmas miracle, and a very unexpected one. See you in the next one.